Okay. Let me sit down. We'll go ahead and get this meeting called. All right, good evening. It is 6 o'clock on July 20th, and I'm going to go ahead and call to order the the organization meeting of the Charter Review Commission. Just going to do a quick roll call. Mr. Bennett?
I'm here.
Ms. Howard?
I'm here.
Here by phone. All right. Ms. Jackson is unavailable due to a family event today. Mr. Sullivan? Here. And Mr. Vanzo? Here. All right, so we do have a quorum and one member, a quorum of 3, and then we got one member remote, so that's great. Rich just informed me the first action item we had was a swearing in of the Charter Review Commission, but Rich informed me that that is not necessary for an advisory committee, so we will dispense with that formality. But before I forget, I want to get a quick photo of you gentlemen with the mayor, if you don't mind, and the vice mayor. Maybe the vice mayor can flank them.
Yeah.
Little color balance.
Yes, but could you come off the dais and come on here and
Is that how you want to do it? So
Yes. Yeah, is that okay with you?
I guess I better stand because
Is that okay with you?
Yes, ma'am. I'm not going to complain as long as you're happy with your photo.
Challenge. Next to call.
If you want me to
My wife.
No,
stand down,
it's quiet.
no, okay. I was just trying not to block out the mayor.
I'm gonna put you on this side, Vice Mayor. Yes, sir, please, sir.
Same here.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. We'll come back here.
Now I-
No, I better stay down there.
Robert, nice to meet you.
Just make it
I know
easier.
you're from around here. so-
Yes, around town I've lived here my whole life, probably.
Can I ask you a question?
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you lift your leg up so we don't,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Can you see the seal in the background okay?
That's what I'm trying to do. Yes, ma'am. You got it. Okay. Yeah, I got it. That's good. 1, 2, 3, and one more. You gotta hold your hand still, Vice Mayor. Ready? Yeah, hold your hand still.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. That was perfect.
Catherine came all the way down here from Sioux Island there to get that photo.
All right, there we go. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for serving.
Yes, sir. Well, don't thank us yet.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
You don't know, we might be a lot of work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Depends who you ask, right?
Yeah, depends, exactly, yes, sir. Depends on who you ask.
That's right.
Yes, I can hear it.
All right. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next agenda item, which is a summary of Sunshine Body Rules, and our city attorney, Mr. Rich Commando, is going to take that for us.
Good evening. So as the city attorney, some of you may have heard of the Sunshine Laws, which is really an abbreviation of what is called Florida's Government in the Sunshine Act. That Government in the Sunshine Act really falls into 2 different silos. One is public records and records retention. The other is what's called open meetings. So generally speaking, when you hear Florida Sunshine Law, you think of open meetings, but I need to make sure that you understand that it also pertains to record retention as well. So what that means is anything that is created as a document, and the document could be something on your phone, text message, email. It's not just something that's formally hard piece of paper that's in writing. So any document that's created to memorialize or formalize knowledge for the government purpose, which is a lot of legal words saying that if you write anything down, text, email, phone message, anything like that, related to your work here with the city as part of the Charter Review Committee, that is a document. Anything that is a document, whether it's on your personal device, phone, computer, laptop, or one of the city's devices, it doesn't matter where it is still subject to disclosure, meaning that we have to provide it if someone makes a records request for it. So if you have a copy of the charter printed out, even if you printed it out, and you start making notes to yourself, those notes become a public record. If someone comes up to speak before you, and you write whether you like or dislike that person in your notes, that becomes a public record. So be mindful of any time that you write something down, or again, electronically create a document, that those items are subject to disclosure, separate from record retention. We also have what are called open meeting laws. What that means is that Florida is a very strong proponent of transparency, meaning that we're not allowed to have any sort of meeting outside of Sunshine. Well, what does that mean? Sunshine requires really 3 different elements: agenda, notice, and minutes. So anytime 2 or more of you meet, we have to have a notice that is publicly noticed so that the public can attend and participate. There has to be an agenda, like you saw City Manager Booth also put the agenda together, and then you can see that Wendy here is taking minutes. Those minutes are required as part of those 3 criteria. If you don't have those criteria and you meet or have a discussion, so you could be out in the lobby and you have a discussion about, I really think that Article 5 is going to need some revisions. You are meeting outside of Sunshine, and it's actually a crime. It's actually a misdemeanor. It is not worth it. Just wait until we're in a publicly noticed meeting and you can have all the discussion you want. Separate from that, that also doesn't have to go to the extreme the other direction. If you all see each other in a restaurant or if you see each other in the grocery store, that does not mean that you have to turn around and walk away. You are more than welcome to discuss anything that has nothing to do with government business. If you want to talk about FIFA soccer that's now over, if you want to talk about why we don't have college football all year long, all of those things are open, but as long as you don't talk about anything related to charter review, you should be in good shape. So giving that quick summary, I now open it up if you have any sort of questions.
Can I just do one other clarification real quick? You can talk with the mayor, you can talk with citizens about it, you can talk with staff, individually. As long as 2 of you aren't there, it's just once there's 2 of you there, then it's got to be in a publicly noticed meeting.
Of the same board.
Yes.
Mhm.
So because
Committee board.
the city council is a separate board, you can talk to them all you want. And they can talk to you. To give
One
you
of them,
ideas.
but you make them a violation if 2 of them are sitting together. It's a problem on their board.
Okay.
So sometimes it
It's
means
crazy.
if you're speaking to a council member and there's something you want to communicate, it's usually easier to give that message through staff. Now, we're not allowed to act as a conduit. We can't just tell each member, this is what Mr. Sullivan said, tell all the other ones. That's acting as conduit, that's also illegal. But if you want to speak to staff, we can then distribute information for informational purposes only. That is not a sunshine law violation.
And I'll typically send out emails to all of you, and generally I don't remind you every time, don't reply all, because that can be perceived as communicating outside of the meeting. But I'll email you all at the same time so you all get the same information if it's necessary.
I've learned that locally there are many experts on sunshine who will tell you the wrong thing. Sometimes you'll hear people say, but we're not going to vote on it. It's anything that could be voted, and that's a lot of things. So
That's what Fled.
So there's a 300, 400 page book called The Florida Sunshine Manual. And essentially the guidance given by them is even engaging in discussion. So sometimes the most common one people are now getting in trouble with is they post something on Facebook. They post on Facebook and then somebody else replies. Even if not one of y'all replies, the fact that one of you could see it, that's engaging in discussion. That's also a violation.
I'm sorry.
Vice Mayor?
So if I look at it, that's engaging in, did I miss something?
The person who's posting it should not be posting.
Okay.
Okay?
So,
And then if
council
if you
committees-
reply to it, the reply is definitely a sunshine violation.
So an example
even
would
though
be-
it's publicly available?
It's not a publicly noticed meeting.
Okay, gotcha.
So it could be like, just say, let's say Brandon posts something, for example, about a subject matter that could be the property tax thing happening. And then I weigh in on, he has all these other people that I may weigh in and try to correct. I'm not allowed to do that.
Mhm.
Because that could be something that we're gonna vote on at some point.
Hmm.
So I'm better off just to not jump into that conversation and let him run with whatever.
So you'll notice on our agenda, number 9, is that we provide, and just like the city council, we provide an opportunity for your comments. There's never gonna be a meeting where you don't get to say what you wanna say.
So all discussion and debate about anything related to the city charter occurs here.
Amongst them as a
As a body.
committee.
Two
Yeah.
more.
But we actually, part of why you're selected for this group is we do want you to talk to other people in the community about their thoughts.
Just like we did.
Within the body.
Yes, sir.
As far as that's concerned, then, I mean, do we then encourage people to come to these meetings so we can engage with them, or can we engage with them
Both.
outside?
So I would say it's hard for, especially at 6 o'clock, somebody's been working all day, as the city council is well aware, to try to get somebody to come to the meeting, they really gotta care about a particular issue, which, even though they care about it, to really cut into your personal time and show up and speak, shows that's really important to someone. So if they communicate something to you personally, that's okay. If you get them to come to the meeting, the nice part about that is because we record and live stream, it's there so that other people can go back and watch and see what their feelings are later.
So I can engage with people, like one-on-one, but I can't necessarily put a post out there about a subject to get a bunch of people to reply at the same time, because that has issues with the same show.
Correct.
Makes sense.
So even if somebody says something totally stupid, you can't log in and correct the record.
That is one of the most difficult aspects of
You
Florida
can't,
sunshine laws.
you can't feed them the true facts.
Just let them run with it.
Yep.
Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I don't know how to ask this question targetedly, so just AI. When it comes to sunshine laws, creating information, and making new data out of other data, we can use AI for all sorts of things, and it can generate notes and it creates documentation. So what about that?
So that becomes subject to the records disclosure laws,
How
even
much
if
of it?
it's all of it.
So even there's two parts of a conversation: the AI thought process and the actual output, and three parts, and what a person types. So all of that.
Yes, it's downloadable, so yes. Yeah, whether you use ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all of them allow you to, or Copilot, they allow you to download, even the prompts that go on.
So Rich, the queries themselves are, wow. Okay.
Just off limits.
Do we? This is a. Do we have a standard way of submitting that kind of stuff? Just
Provide it to the city manager, and then we'll make sure that it's maintained with file. That if anyone makes a request for it, and at that point, that's our obligation to disclose.
Alright. No question. Will we be getting an email?
No.
Okay.
Unless you want a separate email, we could probably work it. I don't foresee that much of a need to establish new emails account. But however, if you would be more comfortable with a city account in this situation because of the sunshine laws, we can do that.
Well, I'm thinking as far as an email or a Dropbox or something of the sort. So files I do create that I can send in there and not have it on my personal computer.
You might have to set up a separate Dropbox, because we can't have everybody else with access to the Dropbox. That would be engaging in discussion.
Project understood. Alright, it's just best to email like data.
And the majority of your emails are gonna be just scheduling, they're not gonna be, because again, we don't wanna start an email discussion over substantive topics.
Sure.
Okay, any other questions?
And then just keep Wendy CC'd on any of the traffic. You're always welcome to email me, but Wendy's our records custodian, so.
Can I ask one more follow-up question? Is there any restrictions in the use of AI?
No.
Okay.
Just understand sometimes AI does not always get it right if you're asking technical, or you're working on a charter, and a charter is a legal document. So AI does have very well-known problems with legal documents.
And if anyone does have any questions about that, I'd love to talk about it.
Thank you.
Ms. Howard, did you have any questions? I know we can't see you raising your hand right now.
No questions right now, thanks.
All right.
Any other questions?
Thank you for the clarification.
And if you have questions as this process moves on, you're more than welcome to give me a call, and we'll talk through any particular fact-specific scenarios.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll go ahead and move on to our next agenda item, which is discussion of the duties and requirements of the Charter Review Commission, excuse me. And I'm going to do this real quick. Just a quick poll. I sent an email out with a link to a Florida League of Cities 1 hour kind of block instruction from a couple of months ago. I don't know if y'all had a chance to watch it. No?
Yeah.
And yes, and Ms. Jackson, did you? I'm just trying to kind of understand where everybody's starting off with. I'm sorry, Ms. Howard, excuse me, I'm getting all my names confused here, Ms. Howard.
Yes, I did watch it.
Great, okay. And so it really just comes down to the city has a 13-page charter. It sits at the very front of, we have an online system, the country has an online system called MuniCode. You can go online, just type MuniCode, Keystone Heights, and you can see the entire code, but the very front of that is this 13-page document, which is the city charter. It is in effect kind of the city's constitution. And if you watch that video, the lady that gives instruction is basically saying, hey, the Charter Review Commission's duty is to go through this on a periodic basis for the city of Keystone Heights. In this charter at the very back says every 4 years that we'll form a Charter Review Commission. The goal is to go through the charter and then propose any amendments, or I'm going to mess up the word, revisions that the Charter Review Committee deems necessary. And it is just as simple as that. It's not saying you have to search hard and find something, but it's also saying if there's things that need to be changed, that's the whole point of the group coming together.
So on that note, and I'm not suggesting, there are times where charter review commissions do determine that the charter doesn't need any amendments. So whatever comes out of your product then gets passed along to the city commission, and they will, if there are proposed amendments, they actually get put on the ballot to be voted on by the electorate.
And my next thing was kind of the timing on that. And so we have to, that has to be proposed to the city council 90 days ahead of the next election, which is, if I remember correctly, the second Tuesday in April of any given year. You back that off, and that gets us to, I want to say it was the 13th of January. But the city council meeting before that is really where we need to go before the city council, which is whatever the first Monday is in this coming January.
Generally, we would shoot for the November meeting. So the November meeting only because historically there have been years where we canceled the December meeting, and you don't want to be jammed up against a notice issue, advertising issue, or something else that would create a problem for putting these questions on the ballot.
So normally we have a little more breathing room between the first organization meeting that we're having today and wanting to have something ready for the city council meeting in November. But it was just time consuming to find y'all. We appreciate y'all being willing to be members of the commission. But that does kind of lay out the timeline of, you know, how detailed and how much time we have. And so I'll pause and see if there's any questions from the committee on what we're here to do.
Not yet, no.
Oh, last bit of trickery for
I did have a question about that. So what if, so I'll be reviewing this in detail as well, and I'll be watching that video. Never done charter review or anything part of the charter, and I feel like it's our responsibility to be acquainted with what these guys are gonna be doing. What if we see something that we feel like needs to be changed? Can we go to them and tell them to review that?
Yes, or you can ask us to present it to them.
Okay. Just wanted to confirm that.
I had that exact same question. I'm glad you asked.
Oh, okay.
So, yes, sir.
To that point, communication outside the meeting and stuff. If anyone does need to communicate with anyone outside the meeting, we contact one of you and contact them. That's how it goes.
We'll just assess what it is. Is it a standard public document that we just want to send out to everybody for reading? Now, you know, if you're going to make a recommendation or something, we have to be careful of, as Rich said, you can't kind of use us as a conduit to communicate outside. But if it's just general knowledge information that maybe someone thinks, hey, everybody else should read this document or
Because
whatever.
like if I do a bunch of research and stuff like that, I want to share my research notes and stuff like that. I would present it to you so you can share it.
Right. What we'd likely do with that is just put it as part of the agenda for the next meeting, and make sure it's shared as part of the agenda as a sub document under here, so that it's it's out there, the public can see what will be discussed, and so that when we come to the meeting, the public has had a chance to review it and be ready if they want to make public comment. But all your fellow commission members would have information as well.
You know, I'll just weigh in because I know a lot of you are probably not familiar with our website and how it works. But if you pull up our website and you go to agendas and meetings, you pull up and you see your meeting like today, and you'll see the title page of what you're going to talk about on the agenda. But if there's usually an attachment below it, you can detach that attachment, put it on your desktop or whatever, how you want to look at it and review it as a PDF or whatever. So in every meeting that we have the same setup, and we go through the entire agenda and pull those documents, and everybody reviews everything so that we're all together. We can talk about it in an educated way, right? Sure. Or have our recommendations, or make my notes and say, okay, I want this changed, or I think I'm gonna recommend this. It's just a bit easier way to get ready for your meeting in this limited time that you have together.
Nobody's starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And if you have something you want to put on the agenda, certainly reach out to Jamie, and he'll put that as a line item and that document that you want to talk about for that particular question, right?
Is there a, Jamie, is there a requirement, for how many people, how many of the committee have to be here for a meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
We need a physical 3 of you in the room to
Okay.
establish a quorum.
Okay.
And then the other
That's
2
what I
members could
wanted.
dial in, or the other 2 members don't have to be here.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanna make sure, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We would prefer if everyone's here.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Since it's our goal to recommend amendments and revisions, is there any provide what exactly is an amendment? What exactly is a revision? Like
It's
we
the
put
same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
So for example, if the Charter Review Commission wants to extend the amount of years in between a Charter Review Commission forming, a proposed could be, instead of every 4 years, it's just changing 4 to 10.
Right.
I mean, it's just that, it could be that simple, but we have a city attorney that, depending on the complexity of what the revision amendment is, that we can get the concept and help construct the right language if it's you're truly adding to. The biggest thing is, as I was listening to a presentation, less is more. Right? This is broad brushstrokes.
Yes.
The more refined, and what could happen depending on how much specific guidance,
Open up a lot.
right? It can be very challenging, and then you can create confliction amongst the rest of the charter.
Right.
So it could be more detailed of what the impacts are. We've got to make sure we're reviewing that. So the other thing I was about to say, on timing, as we talked about, Rich recommends for the city council meeting in November, November 2nd, which is pretty challenging because if you think about it, here's the hard part. If the commission recommends an amendment, it has to go through 3 public hearings. And those public hearings they can be spaced no closer than 10 days apart, but no further apart than 20 days apart.
Wow.
So effectively, the fastest you can go through that process
45 days.
is about a month. I mean, right at a month, just a little bit over a month,
But 45 days is probably gonna be more realistic.
depending on the
Honestly,
timing,
yes.
right?
September.
Yeah, depending on the, honestly.
So, and so just understand that basically the end of September, early, the month of October, would be when that process would need to happen. And
So what you're saying is a good suggestion would be to read the charter.
Absolutely.
Yesterday.
That's not that bad.
So,
It's not, you can read it in the night, it's not bad.
Yeah, yeah. Or that I did do.
and that's all I have. Rich, any other thoughts?
No, I mean, as you have ideas and bring them forward, let's talk them through. There's a lot of times where, from a staff perspective, we'll try to provide you some institutional knowledge. Sometimes we have call it the greatest hits. We have things that come up every charter review, and usually there's some aspect of it as a reason to why at the time the past charter review commissions and past city councils either decided not to move forward with something, or maybe circumstances are different now. So we'll try to provide as much kind of technical backup for any of the ideas that are presented. Okay.
I have a question. This is something I puzzle over from time to time. Could you help us understand, I guess, the difference in relationship between the charter and ordinances and whatever else relates to it? Those 2 things, I guess, come to top of mind.
So I think most people have a little bit more familiarity with, nationally, we have the U.S. Constitution. That Constitution is our foundational document about a vision of where we are going from a government or from a governance standpoint. And then federally, we have the USC, the United States Code, which are federal statutes. Similarly, in Florida, we have a Florida Constitution, and we also have the Florida statutes. So you'll hear from time to time, even though we have a Florida Constitution, which is again the broad-based governance document as to how we're established, the rules that we follow. We then have statutes. Statutes are the more day-to-day details in what laws are allowed. So you'll hear sometimes that the legislature passed a law. That's their job. So similarly, our city council passes ordinances. And every one of those ordinances and laws has to be constitutional. So for example, we can't pass, or the legislature can't pass a law that is unconstitutional. The court system will strike it down. In the same way, the city council cannot pass an ordinance that violates our charter. So think of your charter as your constitution, it's your broad-based governing document, and then think of your ordinances are they're really kind of the implementation side of what the intentions of the charter would be.
An example of I think the most recent change that came from a charter review commission was taking the National Guard dedicated seat off the Airport Authority's board. There's 7 board seats, and one of those was dedicated to the Florida National Guard. And Florida National Guard didn't want to sit as a voting member of that board anymore.
That was their choice.
Yeah,
Right.
Their request.
Yeah, their request. But then Charter Review Commission needed to figure out a way to word that
Correct.
so that it would go to the voters, and the voters can understand that it wasn't that, the city of Keystone Heights was trying to kick the National
Right.
Guard out of the Airport
Yeah.
Authority
Yeah.
board.
Right.
But it was making that change to take that dedicated seat off of the National Guard and then basically adding it to what we call a city seat, a city at large seat. But that was the most recent one that went to the 2022. Went to the vote.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fairly recent. Okay. So, I'm sorry, the charter is structure, relationships, responsibilities,
Big picture.
big picture, and ordinances are conduct, behavior,
Well, I would
things you
say
can do and things you
it's
can't.
basically rules.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really just like, it's the airplane in the sky, it's 40,000 feet down to ground level. The ordinances all feed up to the big picture of what the charter does, right? It's kind of like the different elements of ordinances and whatever we come up with feed into subject matter within the charter to connect, correct? As long as it's relevant.
implementation.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions on the duties?
I guess one more thing, I guess just more of an overall thing, but when it does come to, like you were just mentioning at airport, there's obviously a lot of decision making, and there's a lot of wording in the charter for that at the end and stuff. Instead of just, being moving, having an opinion, can we request and read like past decision making documentation? I assume it's out there somewhere, is there? Can we
Do our
see
best to
that?
find it. Yeah. One thing I had a note on was before the meeting was to try to at least pull that list of what has occurred over the last few charter review commissions.
Yeah.
But finding something, so just so everyone understands, over the last 3 years, City Hall has completely changed out 100%. And so trying to find those documents, they're there, but it just takes a lot of time for us to find them, review them, figure out what's substantive or not.
That we don't have.
What's
A
that?
lot of time that we don't have.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it
it's,
could be very awesome.
yeah, and I did mention this to one of you in inside discussion. City staff is there to do that. We've got quite a few other things going on, but that's part of what we've been doing over this last year is getting caught up on a lot of issues. This is one we need to tackle, so we'd be certainly willing to. I just ask that you ask for really what you need, because we're going to spend time trying to find it, and hopefully, it just needs to be something that's helpful for your decision cycle.
And some of it depends on kind of what's going on in the city and sometimes even state and national political culture at the time. So, I mean, I've been here a few times for this, so I'll run through like.
Rich is our historian.
The appointment of mayor and vice mayor was an issue for the 2022 charter review. The proposed censure policy at the time, there were some concerns with the way some of the members of city council were acting, and there was one of the charter review members who actually used to be a city council member who wanted to at least have a censure policy as an option for the city council. The purchasing threshold, so as time goes on, the amount of money that a city manager can procure goods or services without having to go out to formal bid was something that was discussed. Non-interference from council. So generally speaking, in what we are is a professional-led form of government, there's an understanding that city council doesn't go directly to staff or department heads because they hire the city attorney and the city manager, they go directly through us. So there was a request to have a non-interference provision included in the charter. So those are the things that were talked about last time. If you want, we can go back. before that into 2018. Actually, at that point, the city manager actually had an issue and control log, a spreadsheet that went through the proposed language. I'll pull that up real quick. There's been some discussion about whether or not the mayor should be elected as mayor or appointed by the remaining members of the council. There was a question about how long the residency requirement should be in order for somebody who wished to be on city council. There was discussion about whether or not the city clerk should report to the city manager or report directly to the city council as a charter officer. There was a question, so before it became a problem, we had the issue of if there was a vacancy on council, it would trigger a special election. And even though we all love elections, the problem is that they're very expensive. So when we have the supervisor of elections that has to have a special election, it was costing, I think at the time, around $40,000. So there was a discussion to amend the charter so that if there's a vacancy, that the remaining 4 members would then select, and we have, as a city, we've utilized that provision. The challenge has become at that point, so if there's more than 1 vacancy, so if there's 2 or 3 or 4 vacancies, then it would go to special election. So it kind of reverted back to the old process. Well, what that did was it created a problem so that if by chance the mayor ever vacated a seat, which would never happen until it did, the problem is the other council members could not then express an interest or desire to become mayor, because that would create a second vacancy, which would then trigger a special election. So these are all things that, again, depends on what's going on at the time through your city government as to kind of what changes or kind of tinkering or amendments that people think are important.
And you know, it's really critical of the way it works, and I didn't know any of this either until I became mayor in 2023. But like what he just shared, all of those things were on to vote during that 2023 election in April, I remember it. And the difference being, so Clay County, in Green Cove, Penny Farms, and Green Cove, they appoint their mayor. So the 5 are elected, and they say, hey, do you want to be mayor this year? And then they rotate. Our community voted 70% margin that they wanted the mayor to be elected as mayor. Okay? So I'm in that role for 3 years. I just started again for my 2nd term. And then Mr. Welch is appointed. We annually identify someone who wants to be in the vice mayor role in an annual type of rotation. And they could do it over and over again or whatever. But that was one example of change that occurred in our charter. So, and the thing about, you know, council, you know, basically you have a city manager, the CEO of the city. I don't have the right to tell Wendy what to do. That's not my job. That's his job. And we have to respect that. That was something else we voted on. So these are all good things for our community, I think, that were voted. Just to give you a little clarification on how impactful making those decisions are.
And we look forward to whatever you're going to bring forward.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, I just have a comment. This is a great place to live, and we were just discussing it. 30 years ago, I was the youth pastor at First Baptist, and to come back full circle and see what the city of Keystone Heights has become, I'm a very proud resident, and my wife and I really love it. We appreciate the job that you guys are doing. Very much so.
Well, we appreciate, I truly appreciate you all being here, and of course, Ms. Howard on the, Ms. Kimberly Wright on the phone here, and Ms. Jackson for your involvement, because you know, we want the input. We want to know are we in the right track and going in the right direction. And I'm extremely proud of our council. We have a great group of folks. We really come together as a team. We do our homework, you know, and our great city leadership and staff, and our lawyer who keeps us out of trouble.
Yeah.
As best as he can, right?
He's heard the
But I appreciate each one of your participation and taking your time out of your life.
All right, and Ms. Howard, just double checking before we move on away from the duties and requirements of the committee. Any questions from you before we move on to the chair, vice chair appointment?
No questions.
All right, go ahead and move on to the next item on the agenda, appointment of the chair and the vice chair of the Charter Review Commission. So this would be the point where if any of you were willing to, I know these are kind of tough ones, having to step up into position. So if anybody would be willing to do it,
I'd be glad to chair. I was on the charter review in Columbia County and Lake City, so I'd be willing to do.
With experience running a meeting is helpful. I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
absolutely.
you're all equal, but it helps to have somebody.
Very, very
that can help.
familiar with Robert's Rules of Order and decorum.
Awesome.
What's the
Awesome.
definition of duties for the chair?
so that's really it. Is just
So,
run the
so
meeting.
the chair is essentially running the meeting, to make sure that you make it through the agenda. We kind of guided you through the agenda tonight, but that's something traditionally the chair would do. The vice chair is essentially there in case the chair can't make a meeting, so they would take over and run it.
And for a vice chair, you know, if you're not comfortable with it, these are not that complex a meeting.
Yeah.
The staff will jump in and help if we need, you know, orders or procedures or whatever, we always can jump in and help out.
It's not. No.
Yeah, I second for being chair.
Thanks.
Good with that.
So,
100%.
let's start with Robert rules. So it would help if there was a motion.
I make a motion that,
Mr. Sullivan?
Bennett.
Mr. Sullivan,
Sorry.
is the chair for the Charter Review Commission.
I second that motion.
Then you'd open it up for any discussion.
Any discussion?
On the phone?
Ms. Howard, any comments or concerns, questions?
No, that's good with me.
And then, so we just open up for a vote. And so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. All right, and the ayes have it, 4-0.
Now we need to go through the same process for.
I think you
vice
must be
chair.
hitting the gavel.
Oh,
If no one else wishes, I'll volunteer
Okay.
to be vice. I'm familiar enough with Robert's Rules of Order, I think I
Okay, so let's have a motion.
I'll make that motion that we, I'm sorry.
Mr. Vanzo?
That, he become the vice chair,
Sir.
serve, yes.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? All right, no discussion heard, so all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Well, of course, we have all 4 ayes, so we don't have to do the nays. So 4-0, that motion passes.
Volunteer Ms. Howard for something since she's not here.
That's usually what happens.
I know usually the ones not there are the ones that get tagged.
That's
right. She's here, Val.
She's here just
She's
virtually.
here, virtually, 2026.
Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to the next issue, the next item, so I'll hand it over to the chair. This is gonna be a discussion of the Charter Review Commission meeting dates. What I will do, kind of from the staff side, is just summarize what I had in the agenda item. I'm gonna open it up here real quick. So in general, Mondays are a better day for the city staff, particularly Rich. So just so you know, Rich does this for several counties, cities, and so luckily, general availability on Mondays works pretty good for Rich.
Not the first Monday,
Yeah.
because that's our city council meeting.
Yeah. And so we would recommend, staff recommends the committee avoid city council meeting dates, planning and zoning board, and heritage commission meeting dates, which are typically in the first and the third Mondays of the month. So the second and fourth Mondays of each month are good options for meetings. However, in the next coming months, the second Monday of each month will be disrupted by a special city council meeting on Monday, September 14th. That is because of the truth and millage and budgeting cycle. And then Columbus Day on Monday, October 12th. And so, and we added we put the city's calendar in there to assist y'all as you go through the kind of deliberation. The link to the calendar or the link to the discussion? Oh, okay, let me try it from mine. Nope. Yeah, I agree. It's not playing ball.
No, it doesn't. It's like, yeah, Tuesdays would be worse for me, so I would just make
Or, I mean, or you could pick a Thursday, Wednesday, I mean, most people, a lot of people have church times on Sundays, or Wednesday, so.
Yeah.
Wednesday's church.
Yeah. Monday, I mean, it's pick any day.
And we can move it around for the days where we have some conflicts.
And it just, she's not here, but, Ms. Jackson has communicated that Mondays work well for her.
Yeah,
So,
just stick with them. I'm done.
Mondays are, let's make it work days, Saturdays.
okay.
Mondays are bad for everybody, so let's make it a good day.
So the question is, do y'all feel, so we would, the next time we would meet, I guess we could theoretically meet the fourth, could be the fourth Monday. I'm gonna try and get, I guess it'll be next week.
That would be next.
I would say you probably want to skip this next
Yeah.
week to give you time to read through and come up with some.
No, we're talking the fourth Monday,
So August 24th.
August 24th.
Would be our next meeting.
Right. So sounds like the fourth Monday of the month
Yes.
is where the,
The next one will be what, August 24th, you're saying?
Yeah. That's the fourth Monday in August.
The date doesn't bother me, other than the fact that we need to move this along a little bit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? 2 weeks to read through, I would think on something that's only 13 pages.
So,
I don't see why that would be an issue.
So as an interim, do you want to try August 10th?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, because we don't wanna wait until the last day, especially if it's gotta be heard 3 times if we do find a change. I don't think that waiting till September to start reading through is gonna be a great idea. Better to get it done and have time to worry about it than to worry about it because we can't get it done.
So then the next question is the time of 6 o'clock okay?
Fine with me.
I just,
I'm good with it.
we don't want you to be rushing or having a problem with whatever your daily obligations are to get here on time, so.
Ms. Howard, does 6 o'clock on Monday, the 10th of August and Monday, the 24th of August work for you?
I am not here most of the month of August.
Would you be potentially available by phone again, or are you decidedly out of the country?
No, I will be in the country, I'll be in Hawaii, but I can still call.
Okay. And if for some reason you can't, you can always provide some comments by email to the city manager,
Okay.
and we'll make sure that those
Okay.
get presented.
I do it virtually.
Yeah, I don't know that we have a budget to.
I for one don't want to have the meeting in Hawaii.
I can't put everybody up, but you're welcome to come and show you around.
That's a connection.
Okay, so August 10th at 6 o'clock PM will be your next meeting.
Yes.
I would say after that, we'll tentatively plan for the 4th Monday of the month.
Okay.
But let's see how things go at that next meeting.
All right, that sounds good.
Okay. And I think that just takes us to public comment. So we have no members of the public other than the members of the city council that are sitting here. So I'm thinking, any other comments? All right, nothing from
Sounds
city
like-
council members and nobody else here as members of the public to make
Look forward
comment.
to it.
So at this point, it's just comments from the charter review members of the committee, or commission, excuse me.
Again, we're honored to serve. Yeah, honored to serve.
We appreciate you.
Point of order.
Motion
Boss, second boss, and nobody. There we go. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're all somebody.
What's that?
You're all somebody.
Right.
You wouldn't be up there.
Yes.
Don't be shy about speaking up.
No.
Yeah. I have the sense that you will not.
Yeah, I would hope you'd already gotten that sense.
And Ms. Howard, anything?
No comments for me.
Okay. All right. Well, unless there's no other comments, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you, gentlemen and ma'am.